Hey, Mr. Bentley, are you ready to show our friends around the homestead today and share with them what's happening? Come on, let's go show them. Survivors that went through a little something, something. And, the good and the bad and the ugly, because that's what gardening is all about. Sometimes things work out great, sometimes they don't. But I wanted to start off with the tip on how to save a little something when you are either purchasing items from the garden center or doing so because you needed to do some replacements for some things that you may have lost. And it's okay. It's okay to go to the garden center from time to time. My backup seeds still aren't old enough to come out just yet, but me being the anxious and um, less than patient gardener that I am, I wanted to kind of give you a tip that I learned from another amazing gardener that I follow on YouTube. And you know what? It's so simple. You know what? I purchased these uh, crookneck yellow squash seedlings from the garden center just about an hour ago. And as you can see, there are multiples in some of the pockets. And this is a 6 cell pack, but there are way more than 6 in here. So for $6, I'm probably going to get way more for my money than I would have gotten. And that's one of the first tip I wanted to give you. Look for the packs that are very healthy, not too leggy, and look for ones who may have more than the cells are in there. Like, for example, I'm looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 seedlings in what would normally be a 6 cell pack. So do the math on that. That's a typical good situation, right? So how do you maximize that? Well, the first thing I do is you want to get a small container of water. This is captured rainwater that I got out of my rain collection system that's connected to a downspout from my house. And you want to take one pack at a time and gently pull these apart because squash, they transplant pretty easy. And, we want to minimize as much shock as possible. So I'm going to pop one of these out and gently soak the roots until the soil falls away from the seedlings without pulling the roots too doggone much. Okay, so now that you have your clean water, all you're going to do is take your seedling that has, of course, the multiple sprouts in it, and what you're going to do is remove the soil from around the roots so that you can gingerly separate them. So by submerging the root ball in the water, you gently just kind of give it a little jostle, and what you'll see is the seed starting mix begin to fall away from the roots. And you just gently kind of take your fingers and you're doing like this little finger motion, and you're just gently working those roots from around the soil, just kind of gently shaking and wiggling your fingers to kind of detangle the roots without pulling or tugging. And you just kind of gently shake, and what you'll find, and you'll feel it, is the roots start to separate on their own. And that makes it really, really simple and easier to pull as few of the roots as possible. And this is an easily transplanted plant. This is a green zucchini, and I'm just kind of gently shaking them, and then what you'll see is the roots kind of separated from them. And then what I'm going to do is gently pull them apart without, with pulling as few roots, snapping as few as possible. And keep the water there, and if you need to wiggle and jiggle a little bit more just to get, and just kind of gently start pulling them apart. And you'll notice they get further and further apart, and you have snapped very few, if any. And I just kind of gently tug at them until they let go. And what they do is they literally let go. I'm doing this one-handed, but normally I just kind of take my fingernail and just kind of gently, and I just keep wiggling. I don't want to do much pulling at all. And before you know it, they have separated. Isn't that awesome? And I don't think I broke or snapped any of them. And I love that, because now I have 2 plants, and in a package that normally would only have 6 pots, some of these cells have 3 of them in there. And that just really gives you a great way to multiply what you're getting when you go to the big box store to get your seedlings. It's okay. It's not a crime to buy starts from time to time, especially if you've had the emergency that I've had here on the homestead with the cold snap that came through and killed the first round. And the second round is still not old enough to come out yet. They're getting ready to come out to be hardened, but they're not ready to go in the ground yet. So I'm just going to kind of dampen these now. Now they're literally ready to go in the ground with very little stress at all. Have your hole already prepared, and in the ground they go. I'll be back. All right, my friend, now they are off and running. They're happy in their new space and ready to take on the summer. Bring on the summer, they say. Alrighty, isn't that great?